The Immortal Mask, a 1970s superhero crime noir adventure, follows a retired soldier-turned-reporter who is given a coveted interview with a death row inmate. What he learns thrusts him into Atlanta's shadowy underworld, where he'll have to utilize his military training to survive being hunted for having information that could topple the most powerful ruling class in the city. This full-color graphic novel is available in hardcover, paperback, and pocketbook editions. Crowdfunding now through Dinales.com.
Look at that. We're live for another Joking Adventure Hour. This is Friday, June 19, 2026. Hello to X, Rumble, and BitChute. Hello to YouTube. Hello to Lurkers and Bots. Hello to the chat. Hello to George.
Hi, greeting everybody. Greetings.
We stream every night because the stories are real, but the news, they happen to be fake.
Oh, yeah.
And before we jump in, be sure you get your copy of The Immortal Mask, a 200-page graphic novel, independently created and published by yours truly, at my website, Dinales.com, CriticalBlast.com, and Amazon.com.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's jump in with the first news. Brandon Orr. The Florida Turnpike southbound lanes are shut down near Doral, Florida, as crew fight fire with fire. They're doing a backburn while winds and weathers are predictable, which will leave less fuels for the remaining fire. Scare for those nearby, but necessary firefighting tactics. So,
not firefighting tactics.
Yeah. So our heat is insanely hot this summer. So fires should be normal, but the only thing I can think of is this doesn't look like a normal fire. Does it look like a normal fire to you, George?
No, it looks like it's very contained.
Yeah. It looks like somebody started that fire and our authority figures, firefighters, was able to get in the scene before actually spreading to something big.
Yep.
So if you don't think guerrilla tactics are happening around the country, you're not paying attention.
Oh, no. Nope.
So you see here, this is not a normal fire, especially since we've been having sporadic rain. So a lot of these should be kind of wet still.
Yeah.
No, just bring it to the attentions of people. You know.
Yeah. Look at that. Just beautiful fire. Taking care of, stuff. Doing what a fire does. Yep. Hey, wait a minute. Where's the water? This is Florida. You're surrounded by water.
Yeah.
A little salty water on that will take care of business.
Yeah, a little salty water. But no water for you.
Here?
No water for you, George. No water. You know?
Mm-hmm.
You think you got water, but you didn't get water. All right. This is from Eric. He posts, "Holy crap! Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has shocked the deep state by, on her last day in office, releasing the bombshell files that Dr. Fauci used tax dollars to fund the Wuhan lab responsible for the COVID and millions of deaths. And then he purposely covered it up. He lied to Congress. Fauci deserves charges. Tulsi is a patriot."
Wow. After all this time, now that
Now,
people already like know this.
wow,
So what is it that she's showing us? That's you know I don't
it's
know. Like
it's not suppressed, so
what's that?
the information isn't suppressed as it was before.
So
You know,
before everybody would say, "Oh, we think he did it." Now we know he did it.
exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Now the evidence is coming out.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, that's different. So, quote, Dr. Fauci provided millions of U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund the dangerous gain of function research at the Wuhan lab, work with politicized elements within the intelligence community. Hey, Dr. Malone says that Dr. Fauci was FBI, not FBI, CIA trained. Remember that?
Uh-huh.
To suppress the truth about his action and hide the virus lab origin leaks and lie to Congress while under oath in 2024. That's not true. He kept saying that Senator Rand Paul, was categorically incorrect. Remember that?
Yes.
He wasn't asking the right question, and he was telling you, you're asking the wrong question.
Yep. And these learned people in government, they were too stupid to actually listen to what he's telling them.
Exactly.
Yeah, they were so busy with their
Pontification.
hubris, their egos,
Mhm.
right? To get that was it that clip for the news
Yeah,
channels
yeah. Look
that
what
they
I'm
were
doing.
instead of actually talking tough. It's like, dude, you can talk tough all you want, but you're not asking the right question.
Right. He kept saying that over and over.
Yeah,
Categorically wrong, asking the wrong question.
yeah. Categorically, you're wrong. Categorically, that's not true. And it's like they're not listening. And we listened. We figured it out. We figured it out instantly. It's like I remember there was one point where we played where Fauci says you're categorically wrong, or you're categorically wrong, and first thing you said is, yeah, that's right. That's the wrong category because it's been changed to another category. They're not asking the right category. It's like, oh, it's a shame we're not billionaires because then people would start listening to us.
Yeah. Now the bar's been raised. You have to be a trillionaire.
Son of a bitch! It's gonna make it harder and harder now.
Exactly.
Look, Ma, I made it to the top. Sorry, son.
There's another hit, top.
You gotta do a million.
Yes.
What?
Yeah. Dr. Fauci was behind the scene advisors who, alongside his handpicked so-called expert, pushed the intelligence community to endorse a natural animal origin to hide his dangerous gain-of-function research that he funded using taxpayer dollars. All of this in a deliberate attempt to cover up the truth and shift the blames and attention from Fauci's own actions. The tactics that were used to hide the truth were straight from the deep state playbook. Politicized, self-serving leaders like Dr. Fauci cover their own wrongdoings and abuses of power, manipulated intelligence, lied to Congress, and undermined a duly elected president by restricting his access to the vital facts he needed to keep the country safe. Okay, so let's break this down a little bit, right? Because this is emotionally charged. If this is all true, right? If this is all true, then what whoever is the speaker in these quotations, right, is basically charging Fauci with treason, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if he's being charged with treason, he doesn't go to criminal court, he goes to a military tribunal because they handle treason. Because he's no longer a U.S. citizen, he's not afforded U.S. judicial processes. He's an enemy combatant. Remember, we talked about that?
He's not a U.S. citizen?
Well, once you're a traitor to the country...
Oh, you're categorized differently.
Exactly.
That sucks, doesn't it? How ironic
Exactly.
to be categorized differently.
Right. And if you're categorized differently, that means the pardon he received doesn't apply to him because the pardon only applies to U.S. citizens.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing that's going to happen. You know why the birthright citizenship with the judicial branch with the SCOTUS is so important? It's because once that component is locked in place, whether the judicial SCOTUS actually passed it or not, it doesn't matter. The conversation is what's matter. But if they pass it, then this gives another leverage for Trump to say, okay, since this is only acceptable to slaves that were released because of the 13th Amendment after the Civil War and their children, that means anybody that's not in their jurisdiction, that means aka anchor babies, they no longer have citizenship. aka that means everybody who receives citizenship because of their anchor baby no longer has their citizenship either. See that point?
Yep.
That'll remove another layer. But most importantly, it defines that since these individuals like Dr. Fauci is taking from the deep state playbook, right? That means he wasn't operating in the jurisdiction of the United States. He was operating the jurisdiction of whatever the deep state goals were, whether that was a globalization or whatever. They weren't following United States interests or policy. They were out of jurisdiction. What does that mean? That means that Trump can say, oh, since you guys were not following the interests and policy and spirits of the United States, I can revoke your citizenship, even though you are you were born here as a natural citizen. I can revoke your citizenship because you are a traitor to the country.
Oh no.
Do you see where this leads up to?
Yep.
And then you're going to start seeing people start fleeing the country and ship in airplanes that, have engine failures and crash for no reason. For some of them. Or, fall from a window. Slipped on a banana, fell from a 32-foot window. Like that Beds and Beyond's CEO, CFO. Remember that? So
that blows.
We do say, every night it's like, hey, it doesn't matter until we start seeing conviction and everything. Yes, that's still important. Yes, we still say that because that's giving the Trump administration a gauge of how much people awake. The more people say we want justice, we want accountability, the more they can gauge, okay, people are ready for the next step. If we are all silent, they can't really figure out if we're there, openly. It's a difference between like, hey, this guy is not wearing any clothes, one guy, compared to everybody pointing out and saying, hey, this guy's not wearing any clothes. See the difference? But hey, you know what's kind of strange? The Fauci in 2019 and early 2000 and the Fauci after 2020, right, has a bigger nose and different forehead and subtle feature. I wonder if he got bited, with like Fetterman. Fetterman 9. We should make a comic book called Fetterman 9.
Well.
Yeah. Super 70 Sports. I miss the days when the news smacked so effing hard that Peter Jennings had to fire up a heater just to deliver that shit. You're so super cynical that you're not even realizing how that he will be smoking 7 cigarettes in each hands.
Poor Peter.
Yeah. Jungle Ball 2 posted South Carolina Sheriff Chuck White, right? For over 20 years, this guy's played the tough, no nonsense law and order sheriff, striding around Spartanburg like he was untouchable while he was busy, paying his no-show cousin a full deputy-style salary for roughly 2 decades so the guy could run his own construction business instead of working, stealing more than $28,000 from the Belen. So stupid. So stupid, George.
Just move along. Just cut this segment short. Move.
No. This guy was stealing money from a fund that was supposed to help deputies and their family during their, rough patches.
I know. I'm not laughing because of the heinous act that has happened, and that the people needed the life-saving support, and possibly life-saving support.
Yeah,
it's just that we've ran so many stories like this.
Yeah,
it's mind-boggling.
The positive thing,
mind-boggling, the fact that it's X that's bringing all this stuff to light.
Which wouldn't happen if Elon, the trillionaire, hasn't done this.
Because what CNN's doing right now? Mm-hmm. They're investigating the reflecting pool and how somebody damaged it. And they got experts looking in on it, how algae is growing and all that stuff, right? And they're doing whole segments on it. If CNN actually spent that, it's a fraction of this effort that they're looking into the reflecting pool, onto the fraud that's been perpetrated across America.
Yeah,
shit will probably be getting done. That's the sad thing. That's all right. I'm done ranting.
So the positive thing is that the law finally caught up with him. So now he's going to be impeached and removed from office because he's an elected official.
Oh, wow. Removed from office. Ooh,
And arrested.
Okay, that's much better.
Yeah. Well, you have to remove the person from office, and then Yeah. It's a process, right?
Yeah.
So Colonel Tanner Watkins writes, it's safe to say all high-profile assassinations were CIA hits. They were the only entity that were paid to assassinate people, classify it, stamp national security on it, so they totally protect it forever. Harry Truman created an assassination machine, gave a total classification of assassination, and Congress passed it with other activity clause, knowingly. SCOTUS allowed the national security as a defense against disclosure. Our entire government is compromised, and this is the important part here. Our entire government is compromised. If the entire government's compromised, then that gives Trump Article 2 powers to use the military to sweep clean the government. And you know what I think has been happening these last 10 years since 2015? Trump has been using Article 2 powers to clean sweep the government in a phase, level, so crazy people don't decide to go la 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 la.
Yep.
RJ Marone, Operation 40, CIA assassination squad led by Jose Perdomo, was recruited during the Bay of Pigs buildup and enabled by Nixon CIA restructuring, which expands the use of foreign national and covert ops. Perdomo was the doorman at John Lennon's building the night he was killed. That John Lennon, he didn't follow the rules. He was talking about free speech and communist bullshit. He was talking bad about the government, so he had to go. So that's why during the Sacco team, we just introduced a guy to be right there in front of John Lennon and take two boots. You know, and
Yeah.
so here's from the disclassified documents that were released. Hirsch revealed that the CIA had conducted massive spy and cover operation program on domestic soil under code names MH Chaos. The story prompted the Church and Pike hearings in 1975, confirming his allegations. Which, we played the videos of the Church hearings. Of course, you have to remember, Senator Frank Church, reportedly constrained by limitation beyond his control, narrowed the scope of his investigation to surveillance and back off from more serious allegations. AKA, a lot of figures on the committee were former CIA officers. Domestic murder plots, for instance. So there's domestic. Let's take off domestic murder plots. The American public doesn't need to know that the CIA is causing domestic murder plots. Hey, George, would it find it crazy to find out that Marilyn Manson was a MK Ultra or
Yeah, we know that
person, right?
Yeah, we know that.
And it was a test run.
Yeah, we know that. Poor bastard.
Yeah.
The guy's a piece of shit, but poor bastard.
Exactly. The sensitive and dedicated public servants of the agency had indeed been involved in political assassination, according to Timothy S. Harding at the Center of Study of Intelligence in a secret report dated July 2nd, 1996, since declassified. Although the commission has become aware of the assassination, I love how they put commission, right? You know what reminds me of the commission? The New York Commission. It's not been pushed to explore this area until it was well along in probing the domestic activities that had led originally to its formation. Hey, we were supposed to this church committee was supposed to be investigating domestic activities, and it didn't fulfill such task. Gee, I wonder why. Oh, wait, then we'll find out that the Warren Committee failed to do its job about the assassination of JFK using French political assassins paid by the CIA, allegedly.
Wow.
Even though the French president of that time, de Gaulle, was telling the American consul, hey, my French terrorist organization who's been planning to kill me for the last 5 years is going after your president. But, no such thing happened. Regardless of the political motives behind the exclusion of domestic political murder in the Church Committee final report, such motivation didn't exist. So they did acknowledge it, but, briefly, because, when you listen to it, you're like, hey, guys, you're the CIA who's supposed to be for you. It's not really for you. Hartley mused vaguely that the problem was by June 1975, the scheduled deadline already extended several months. The Church Committee was still far from completing this aspect of the inquiry. Basically, the Church Committee was running the clock, making it so, oh, guys, we couldn't finish this because we were wasting taxpayers' money, so we better close it fast so we don't waste taxpayer money, George.
Oh, no, not wasting taxpayer money.
Yeah.
How such an unusual thinking.
Right. Oh, watch this. Here's the cherry on top of this. The Congressional Pandoras of the 70s never opened the box marked murder. No times for that, besides whatever credibility that the Rockefeller Commission could muster would have been sapped by a premature publication of preliminary findings in these highly sensitive areas.
Holy smokes.
The NH Chaos was supposedly terminated by William Kobe, Helm's successor, in 1974. But in the real world, The Rockefeller Commission reported a year later that the operation massive files and computerized index are still intact. So a operation that should have been terminated was still going on. The retentions of the CIA database on dissidents would have been a tip-off that chaos was far from dead. In 1974, the MHKS was rebranded as the Agency International Terrorist Group, or ITG. The transition was cosmetic, however, a dab of bureaucratic lip gloss, worried that the Inspector General might discover MHKS and exposes Angus McKenzie wrote in secrets the CIA war at Holmes, Helm Muster, Kobe, KS Director Richard Orwell, and Deputy DCI Thomas Karamessanis for a meeting on December 5th, 1972. Helm emphasized the importance of running a cleaner, less dubious-looking operation. George, can you be a pal, a sport, a friend, and recite me the opening of Get Smart, please?
Recite the opening of Get Smart?
Yeah.
Let's see, the opening of Get Smart. You mean the music or the words?
The words.
There is no words. It's just music.
No, there's a narration.
There is?
Yeah, remember?
Okay, well, I remember the series. I don't remember the narration.
Yeah, there's always a narration.
Well, give me a sec.
Following the story is a story of Control, the top secret organization dedicated to the preservation of human rights. Opposing Control is Chaos, an international organization of evil. And now, starring Don Adams as Maxwell Smart, aging 86.
Oh, that is in the pilot episode. It's not in the regular episodes. That's the pilot episode.
Okay.
The regular episode says
Well, I guess in the Latin American they kept putting that in the front. But George,
yep.
George, did he? But before you get too cut off, did he hear?
I'm already cut up.
Okay, let me reread this. The following is a story of Control, the top secret organization dedicated to the preservation of human rights. Opposing Control is Chaos.
Son of a bitch.
An international organization of evil.
Oh, good gosh. Are you kidding me?
Hold it. And now starting Don Adams as Maxwell Smart, Agent 86. Agent Murder.
So Don Adams had a license to kill.
Yes, he was Agent Murder 86.
Yeah. Gee whiz.
So, what are we seeing here? Chaos Director. Chaos. They always tell you in the movies or TV show. Helms was determined that Operation Chaos survived congressional and journalistic inclusions. The solution was a single emotive word: terrorism. Who coined the word terrorism, George? Why, our good friends of the CIA. That's where terrorism came from.
They needed a boogeyman, and since there wasn't any, they had to create it.
Yes.
Just like the glowies in the FBI.
Bingo.
Good gosh.
And
just like the Muslim Brotherhood from the elite in the British government.
And now the ADL and SPLA.
LC.
Yeah, LC, whatever.
Gee whiz.
Yeah. Sorry, SPA. Yeah, the Sovereign Poverty Law Center. Helms ordered that the CIA covert war on left-wing dissidents be described within the agency as an offensive against terrorism. Chaos, or TGI director Richard Ober, identified with the subject of terrorism inside the agency as well as the intelligence community. And so the first war on terrorism was born. This was in 1972, George. Hey, George, you know what's happened shortly after? About 3 or 4 years later, we had the Iran hostages happening.
Yeah.
And then terrors during the Latin Americas where they changed things.
Yeah.
The intent of the shell game was to spiff up the agency image, Mackenzie notes, on the assumption that terrorists were more believable as a genuine threat as dissidents. Yes, But there was, in fact, to be little change in targets. MH Chaos, a counter-terrorist drag, continued. Hey. Look at this. Counter-terrorist drag. Counter-terrorist drag. Hey, George. What do you call a guy cross-dressing?
Oh, yeah. Hoover guy.
Yes, Hoover guy, but that's if FBI. No, a guy in a drag.
Okay, who?
No, a guy in a drag is who you call.
Oh, what do you call a guy in a drag?
No, call a guy cross dressing. A guy in a drag. Continue to hold dissidents, now reclassified as terrorists, in its sights, specifically radical youth, blacks, women, and anti-war militants. The label international terrorists was designed to replace political dissidents as the ongoing justification for illegal domestic operations. The congressional investigators of 1970 were unaware that at a secret 1968 meeting of the CIA official and Wall Street operative. What? Wall Street operative, George?
I got nothing. I'm purposely staying stupid on this one.
Yeah, held at the Council of Foreign Relations. So the CFR, it was decided that the agency operation had already become too public. Thereafter, sensitive jobs would be delegated to private organizations, many of the personnel which would be non-U.S., particularly third country nationals. Hey, isn't this where the Mujahideen started appearing, and ISIS and Kira? all these organizations started popping up.
Things to make go.
When World War II ended, Lindsay and Dulles served the staff of the Congressional Committee that approved the Marshall Plan. Nixon served on that committee as well, so he knew that the prominent Death Squad leader and counter-terrorist, the primary recommendation of the CIA reorganization working group chaired by Lindsay was codified Richard Helms before he was forced from the DCI office and replaced by William Kobe. The use of foreign national in the Nixon era black bag operation was obvious. H.R. Hillman wrote in The Ends of Power, I was puzzled when Nixon told me, tell Ehrlich man, this whole group of Cubans, Watergate burglars, is tied to the Bay of Pigs. And I paused and I said, the Bay of Pigs? What does that have to do with the Watergate burglaries? All the Watergate burglars were CIA and actually from the group, the whole Bay of Pigs situations. That's
Oh,
why
wow.
that's why Nixon wanted to record himself, because he needed evidence against the CIA. And then from misguided, um, I, it's in hindsight misguided situation, or maybe guided situation.
Yeah.
He decided not to say, "Hey, I was recording myself because I thought that the CIA would be targeting me for removing the coup because I wasn't agreeing to go with their plans." Because he got even more paranoid after the second term, because they removed his vice president and replaced him with Gerald Ford, because they were trying to put in place um, Rockefeller. I can't remember the name of the Rockefeller that was vice president under Gerald Ford, but that Rockefeller.
Mr. Rockefeller?
Well, it was a Mr. Rockefeller.
Not the Mr. Rockefeller?
Yeah, D. Rockefeller died in his bed.
So it's Rockefeller Jr.
No, that's the head of the bank. No, this was one of his other sons. From its inception, Operation 40. Okay, continue. What does that? But Nixon merely said, Ehrlichman will know what I mean, and dropped the subject. From its inception, Operation 40 recruited professional hitman, a group led by Nixon, and there were indeed Bay of Pigs veterans. Researcher John Simpkins writes, the first meeting chaired by the CIA Tracy Barnes took place in his office in 18 January 1960 and was attended by David Atlee Phillips, E. Howard Hunt, J. Esterline, and Frank Bender. According to the Fabian Escalay, a senior officer of the Cuban Department of State of Security, G2, in 1960, Richard Nixon recruited an important group of businessmen headed by George Bush Sr., Jack Crichton, both Texas oilmen, to gather the necessary funds for the operation. It suggests that Operation 40 agents were involved in a freelance work, and it's known that at this time, George Bush and John Crichton were involved in a covert right-wing activities. In 1990, the Common Cause magazine argued that the CIA put millionaires and Agent George Bush in charge of recruiting exile Cubans for CIA invading army. Yes, they were going to do that because they needed a boogeyman, and technically they have succeeded.
Wow. I mean, okay, wow.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Nixon said that the difference between here. Let me back up. There was one time somebody asked about the death of John F. Kennedy, and Nixon said, kind of pointedly, he says, the difference between Lyndon B. Johnson and I is that I wouldn't kill to get the presidency.
Oh, gee whiz.
Recruits to the Operation 40 were handpicked by Jose Sanjeres Perdomo and said to be the doorman of Dakota on December 8th, 1980, the day the Beatle John Lennon was assassinated. How many unexplained American murders and acts of terror could be traced to the Nixon-Lindsay reorganization of the CIA? As mentioned, the congressional probes of the 70s had no time for the assassination stories. And let's not forget, too, that the government, Jose Permedo had worked with both the Cuban secret police and the CIA. On the matter of Perdomo, rumor mills news stated in 2004, newly discovered information suggests that doorman Jose Permedo suggests that he may have been John Lennon's true assassin, and that Mark David Chapman was merely a patsy who confessed to the crime while under the spell of relentless mind control techniques such as hypnosis, drug abuse, shock treatment, sleep deprivation, and so on. Perdomo was tasked to provide security for Lennon at the Rockstar's upscale apartment complex in Dakota the night of the murder. Record reveals that a Jose Joaquin San Genis Perdomo's alias Sanguinis was an anti-Castro Cuban exile and member of the Brigade 2506 during the Bay of Pigs invasion in 1961, a failed CIA operation to overthrow Fidel Castro. To understand why someone may have wished to see John Lennon terminated, we have to turn to the right of the British conspiracy theorist John King. In his book, Who Killed John Lennon, author Fenton Bressler present evidence that the former Beatles' death was not the work of a lone nut, but that Mark David Chapman was a CIA asset and the CIA itself, or a faction of it, was behind the assassination. Bressler cites Lennon political activism as a primary motive. Yeah, because at that time, Lennon was going full blown communist.
Gee whiz.
Can you imagine the people? No religions, no church, no anything of structure happening. Imagine all the people being communists all day, every day. It wouldn't take much to get assassinated for saying those things. And then horror mode gamings. We give rest in peace to Bobby Prince, the legendary composer behind such games as Doom, Doom 2, Wolfenstein 3D, Duke Nukem 3D, has sadly passed away. Thank you for the awesome music for those games.
Yeah, childhood.
Yeah. I know it's an emotional whiplash. We're talking about deep end political stuff with the CIA. And then, oh, I'm sorry, for this gentleman to pass away.
Yeah, it's like, that kind of stuff. What can I tell you?
All right. Afshin Ratansi, Ursula von der Leyen, European Commission, considered restricting protection for draft age Ukrainian men so that Zelensky doesn't run out of men to send to the front lines of the NATO proxy war against Russia. Fighting Russia is the very last Ukrainian. Ukrainians' death rate outpaced their birth rate by nearly 3-1 in 2025. Yet, their cities look very nice. Your politicians would rather see endless number of Ukrainians die to keep the proxy war with Russia going. Here's a question. How can a European Commission restrict anything from Ukraine? It's not part of the European Union, last time I checked. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. George? Mario. So, GADSAD just learned about the Canadian exit tax. It's very real. One of the reasons our brain drain isn't bigger than what it is already is a form of entrapment. There are successful entrepreneurs who have highly profitable business that do not leave because their business would be taxed as though it was sold, a deemed deposition as fair market value. But they don't have the money to pay the tax on it. Think of it as acquisition.
See, this is bullshit. This whole thing is bullshit. I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
Right? You're telling me these businesses can't leave Canada because of the leaving tax?
Yep.
Okay. Again, that's total bullshit.
Yeah, you don't have to leave. You just have your thing. Open up a
just open up another company in the States.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
It's not rocket science, man.
People are not smart. Oh, Buzz Patterman and Ussie discovered Texas Roadhouse for the first time. Let's watch his reaction.
Yeah, I don't normally go to fancy restaurants, but I'm in America with my son, so I'm like, let's go to Texas Roadhouse. It's unbelievable. First of all, they give you these peanuts. You can eat as many as you want. She's like, yeah, just take a bag. Then they come out and they put this bread on the table, and I'm like, oh, I didn't order the bread. It's like, oh, that's free. It's like, and she goes, and if you want more bread, we'll just give you more. And this bread it's as nice as bread can possibly be. if you're an Australian, try and picture the most unbelievable bread, like Subway bread. Got this fancy butter.
The most unbelievable bread from Ozzy is Subway bread. Okay.
Then they give you the Coke. Of course, it's America, so it's unlimited refill. And then it was all like ribs and steak and chips. There was an onion that had been deep fried, and you dip it in the sauce. You just leave there so happy. And then Australians are all like, yeah, but in America you've got to tip. No, you don't have to tip. You want to tip. These people are the most wonderful people in the world. I don't even know why you Americans are so angry all the time. You guys have Texas Roadhouse in your country. You should just be walking around wanting to hug everybody.
First of all, he fell for it. When the steakhouse gives you, free bread and free peanuts, all that stuff.
Yeah,
they're setting you up for failure because you won't be able to eat all that food.
Exactly. You'll be full.
You'll be full halfway eating through the food.
Exactly, and then you'll think, "Oh, this was so much food. It wasn't really."
Yeah, I need to doggy bag this, please, pretty please.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you fall for it, where it says, "Hey, you can have this free meal if you eat this whole steak."
This whole steak.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna do that, you definitely do not practice with bread and peanuts at the beginning before you start eating that steak.
Yeah. It's amazing. Oh, saucy. Polymark, South Korea president says Trump told him that the time has come to turn attention to North Korea nuclear program. Okay, they already have discussed that. It's the first time Trump made a visit to, or second time made a visit to, North Korea back, during his first term. So it's just a matter of time. We're going to play a little bit Rocket Man, and then everybody's going to be a little freaked out, and then everything's going to settle down.
Mm-hmm.
Mario, Vancouver is the first city in history to mark its drug crisis as a tourist amenity. The FIFA Vancouver tourism site, funded by the federal government and city of Vancouver, is teaching foreign visitors how to consume illegal drugs direct from the site.
Are you kidding me?
List of drugs by name: opiate, cocaine, MDMA, ketamines, counterfeit pills. Acknowledged BC drug supply has killed over 16,000 people since 2016. Provides if you do use instructions, say you don't need identification or Canadian health coverage to access harm reduction or overdose prevention services of British Columbia. No ID for free healthcare. To buy alcohol illegally in BC, you need ID. To get harm reduction supply for illegal drugs you use, you don't. Oh, here's the website, see?
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Don't want to know.
It's a wonder. It's a wonder? It's a wonder. Do you wonder? I don't wonder. All right. Moving on. Let's see. Yep. No, we did that one. This is the one. All right, we jump back to California to see how it's going. New York Post: California could be sued, charged $66 per hour for asking questions of the state government under a crazy new bill. California, you're becoming more crazy than a TV show on Hollywood.
Oh no!
If that was possible, Yep. Da, 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 da. All right. So next one is from Dr. Robert Malone. Let's see what he has to say. Dr. W. Malone, MD, on her last day of Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard declassified the COVID cover up, never before seen documents, Fauci fingerprints on the intelligence itself, and lied told to Congress under oath. Here's what happened. The release lay out 3 roles Fauci had held at the same time. He funded the gain of function research at the Wuhan lab. He quality advised the intelligence community on the virus origins. He went on television, called the lab leak a conspiracy theory. The funder, the advisor, the spokesman, one person. He is the science. How the machine worked. Fauci handed the intelligence community his own NIAID funded scientists to consult, and their inputs shaped the intelligence. That intelligence was then sold to the public as an independent scientific consensus against a lab leak, a closed loop. He fed the machine, cited the machine. Under oath in 2024, Fauci was asked whether he has ever spoken with the FBI, CIA, DIA, or any intelligence agency about the virus researcher. His answer, not to my knowledge about COVID. The declassify files includes readouts of those exact briefing by name and by date. And the analysis who saw it, one contractor was terminated days after coming forward. Others were reminded that leadership decides who gets promoted. Gabbard was referred it all to the inspector general. If you still believe the lab leak was a conspiracy theory, explain this away. So, there you go. You know. Interesting.
Wow.
Okay, Eric. Leader John Thune just called on MAGA to stop criticizing Republicans like himself on the Save American Act and instead make it about the Democrat. Thune, we ought to make this an issue with the Democrats rather than with each other. Punchbowl. Everybody knows we're not nuclearing the filibuster. It was on the floor for 2 weeks, and we had 5 votes on it, and none of which had gotten 60. The Save American hasn't even gotten 50. Secure elections should not be this hard.
Yeah, this guy's not going to go places.
This guy's being primaried out if it isn't his time yet. I see Donald Trump. Anyone who doesn't want to terminate the filibuster is a fool, a very stupid one. At that, Democrats will end it within minutes of taking office and then rapidly proceed to destroy our country, adding 2 radical left states, 4 Democrat senators, and many congressmen, women. Their dream of 21 Supreme Court justices, not just 13, an unlucky number, and impossible to beat electoral college votes. And that's the ball game. Popular votes, landslide, and so much else. The Republican Party will never have another election win. I will sadly be the last Republican president. The Senate Majority Leader John Thune and the Republican Senate must not let this carnage happen. They will go down the wrong side of history as will all Republicans who just stood by and watched. The Republican Party is in a stake. Our country is. Terminate the filibuster and immediately approve the Safe American Act. God bless the U.S. Donald J. Trump. From the Times, Keir Starmer is now considering resigning after cabinet member called for him to step down. He'll come to a decision with his wife and family over the weekend. Yeah. It's like, how much should I keep screwing the UK over? What about 2 more weeks, honey? I know. Yeah, should I? Yeah, 2 more weeks.
Yeah, school's out in 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you can step down. Step down in, the most happiest time of a kid when they're graduating or going to summer. You would think. Think or not think?
Nothing.
Nothing. Look at the regulation of stupidity. This is from RT. Man faces 2 years in prison for cleaning up a river. Prowsland and a group of volunteers removed 200 bags of rubbish from London's river Roding. The environmental agency is prosecuting him for not having a permit.
Fucking hell, man.
Oi, you! How dare you clean this river and make it actually valuable? So our people who are supposed to buy it at dirt cheap, now has to buy it at a fair market price because you cleaned it up without a permit. You can't get away with that. We're suing you for cleaning up this rightfully destroyed and desecrated river that we could have bought on a cheap. Now we have to pay for full price and re-dirtied it again because you didn't get a permit, and you'll get sued because of a permit.
Oh wow! This is like the scam where a guy saves another guy, and the guy that got saved sues the guy that saved him. And why is he suing him? Because he interfered with me. Acting my God-given Darwinism.
Oh yeah, The Incredibles.
Just stupid.
Yeah, so that's the part they don't talk about, that since cleaning up that land and river it actually made it more valuable. So next time you see, why does nobody clean up the land or area? It's because if you clean it up, it becomes valuable again.
Yeah.
If it looks like a junkyard, then it's less valuable and they can buy it on the cheap.
Yep.
Catherine Hedrich, DNI Gaver document released, the one report you shouldn't miss. Top U.S. lab assessed Wuhan leak in late 2019. All necessary condition for an accidental release of a laboratory modified coronavirus, specifically a coronavirus adapted to recognize human cell receptor, were present at the Chinese Wuhan Institute of Virology mid to late 2019, while government official spins documents speak for themselves. All right. Follow the pen. We assess all necessary condition for an accidental release of the laboratory happened, blah, blah, blah. So they already knew it's international assessment report that was promoted. And if you want to see the full documentation, there's the link. Just go to Catherine, go to there, and you can go to there. But why did Fauci have to do it, in another country? Because it's illegal in the United States to do gain of functions.
Because thanks to Obama, Obama made it illegal with his declaration.
Yeah. Do you know where they moved it from? Which facilities?
University of someplace?
They actually moved it from the lab, the CDC lab from South Carolina. And before that, they moved it from Atlanta CDC.
They were whack-a-moling the labs?
Yeah. So originally it came to Atlanta where they did the initial ones. And then when he got winds that Georgia was like, we're not going to have a biohazard in our country or our state, they moved to South Carolina. That's when Obama says, whoa, you can't do this in this country. Period. So he offsourced it to the other biolabs in Ukraine and China.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So instead of, saying, don't stop, don't do it, it's like, no, I'm going to continue doing. So then becomes the question, who were paying you to continue research when you were told to stop doing it? Because you don't have incentive to continue if somebody tells you, stop doing it. Colonel Tom Walken, the law funding the biolabs under the guise of dismantling them was bipartisan. New Lugar. The building in Ukraine was Lugar R, name on it. The Congress has been under R leadership for 16 years since then. It was truly a bipartisan project, asked the CIA. They will verify it. Lugar escorted Senator Obama on his first overseas trip to his namesake biolab. Margarita Similyan, Russian military statement about the U.S. Democratic Party involvement in the development of the network of dangerous biolab in Ukraine has now been confirmed in the published press released by U.S. Director of National Intelligence. The scheme involves scientific organization, major pharmaceutical company, while the funds from non-governmental organization were raised under the state guarantees. Why is this being released, you would be asked, George? Because it's one of the conditions with the Russian negotiation between the UK-Russian proxy war. So to make peace, Putin wants accountability from the United States for those biolabs. Why we're releasing this? Because it's part of our bargains at the undisclosed negotiation that happens. Remember that negotiation between Saudi Arabia, Russia, and U.S. happened earlier last year?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably one of the peace terms for this thing to happen. This is why the whole Ukraine and Russia war hasn't happened yet. We still need to keep bleeding Europe dry with the proxy war that they know they're losing, but it can't help but continuing until we get our house in order and everybody else's house in order. If you can kind of see, we're strategically destroying the blocks and control levers of our enemies.
Well, apparently NATO,
or
the European Union, is running out of money. They can't fund the Ukraine war anymore.
Well, NATO doesn't have any money because was usually funded by U.S. the majority of it, and we are no longer paying into it, and we're actually reducing armed forces at a very phased stage with airplanes, tanks, and personnel, which is stripping from their economy. Us stopping the Strait of Hormuz has been cutting off the European Union at their needs. So the EU has no money, the NATO has no money, and all these European unions is slowly whittling away. But it's a systematic demolition of this order that's been on top of us, of this organized criminal organizations, basically. So why isn't it going bang, bang, boom, boom, all this? Because there's 8 billion people and we need to save the majority of them because the majority of them are innocent. And, we could go bang, bang like Hollywood, but that would cause massive casualty and probably the destruction of this version of civilization. And I believe I like air conditioning, George, and paper toilets, and the convenience of opening a refrigerator and getting food out, and sleeping in my bed compared to going back into the, I got to hunt and find food and, make the whole process over again kind of deal. I kind of like the internet too as well, right? I wanted to move forward. I don't want to move back. So if just waiting for things to fall into place in a slow and methodical way, I feel fine and dandy doing that. Even though we're kind of impatient, we want to see accountability. George, any comments?
No, it's all good.
Okay. Da, 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 da. Not a number. Incest legalized. Well, that's such a headline. At the request of the Muslim lobby, Keir Starmer legalized in the United Kingdom marriages between first cousins. An appeal from one of the deputies to Starmer. Mr. Starmer, do you understand what you're doing? This carries catastrophic health risks for people, many of which cannot be determined until the child is born. If this practice continues from generation to generation, the English people will disappear. Starmer, yes, I have already stated my position.
And you ask yourself how this guy stays in his position.
Hey, because it's all an illusion of choice, George. Illusion of choice. Nick Shirley, according to the current pardon attorney of the U.S., Anthony Fauci was begging for a pardon literally minutes before the change of power on January 20th. On the morning of the inauguration, Fauci was emailing Biden administration for a pardon. What crimes did Fauci commit? Crimes against humanity?
Wow. He was actually begging for a pardon. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
And they auto-penned it, I'm assuming.
Yeah, they auto-penned it, but you know what? Depending on what happens, things may not work. Because remember, if they recategorize him as not being U.S. citizen, pardons don't work for him. Later report, President Trump allegedly privately told several associates that Venezuela could become the 51st state and he would select the governor to oversee it.
And did Venezuela go freak out? Nope.
It's better than what they have right now. Mike Lee says, I just don't claim it. It's irrefutable. It's a matter of public record. Senator Mike Lee claims that the Save American Act has 50 votes, despite what other Republican claims otherwise, as well as Majority Leader John Thune. So here you go. Amendment number 5804 to 5453 S2. The counts yay, nay 45, voting, not voting 1. So the yay has it. So basically the 50 votes are there, George. So John Thune got caught in his lie.
So somebody's not being outright truthful.
Right. All right, Sanders on Rogan.
How terrible Bernie Sanders is,
right.
And you can buy that election, right? That's your constitutional right. I think that's probably the worst decision that the Supreme Court has ever made. So what is the result of that decision? The result of that decision, let's take us to where we are today, is that Elon Musk, and I know Elon was on your show, and he's here in Austin, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And we could talk about Elon, but he spent $270 million to elect Trump as president. Okay. I think that's absurd that any one person.
What's the most someone donated towards the Harris campaign?
They spent a lot of money on Harris as well.
They spent $1.5 billion just
combined
over the course of a couple of months.
You got it. All right, let me talk about it. So
Yeah,
I'm not here
let's
just
talk
to say
about
it's
that.
a Republican. That's my point here.
Right.
Okay. So Musk spends that money, and what's his reward? He becomes the most powerful person in government for 3 or 4 months. Okay, fine. How terrible Bernie Sanders is,
Right.
And you can buy that election.
The guy's really doing a mental gymnastics here.
Yeah. Crazy old Bernie, who probably was happy during the Summer of Love. Colonel Donald Watkins, known as the GOP states of Oklahoma and Georgia are on the list, Kentucky as well. Why is that? Shiloh Marks, state sued by the DOJ over voter rolls accounts for 39 million mail-in ballots. So these are the states that are refusing to give their voter rolls to the DOJ. Huh. That's weird. It's like these states, for the most part, are the problem childs.
Yeah, notice how they paint the blue states red?
Yeah. Well,
So
they used.
you get the impression that it's red states that are the problem.
Yeah. Colonel Talon Watkins, millions died as a result of these people. Barack Obama, to George and Laura, Bill and Hillary, we're grateful for your friendship, counsel, and devotion to this country. And to Joe and Jill, thank you for being on this journey with us. Just a reminder, who's been our shepherd for the last 20 years? Ish. This guy, is the one who put in taxes for Social Security. Also made it criminal for adult guys to be with their moms in Section 8 housing, and made higher criminalization standards. This guy and this gal, the creation, lost 2 nuclear footballs, lost a shipment of Stingray missiles, and also created the North America Trade Agreement, which caused a lot of our jobs, manufacturing jobs, to be outsourced either to Canada or Mexico, in the name of free trade, but on an American's dime. Oh, and dismantle key military facility that allowed the rise of ISIS, Al Qaeda, and other insurgents in the Middle East to happen. This guy, he acted like an idiot and figurehead puppet, while Dick Cheney actually ran the president to create war on terror, but really was a way to funnel $1.3 trillion into their families and do forever wars where nothing really was done, and they were hoping that it was continuing. So when he said mission accomplished, yeah, mission was accomplished because all they set out to do was successful. Not to the American interest, but his own interest. And then Barack Obama was sent in as a closure, where he allowed the LGBT to spring, fired all patriotic generals that had the best interests of the American country and military and standards of military to be departed and sent in with self-loading military people out. Oh, by the way, he bailed out with Bush the detonation of the American dollar and diluted it so much that we're still feeling the repercussions of it at that time. Have I forgot anything?
That was pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess this is the only woman in the picture. You can tell by the feet.
That was a good one.
Okay. Next up. Lives at TikTok. OMG, employees at a Starbucks in St. Louis were fired after he fought off robbers who assaulted them. Both robbers were later convicted in jail. Why are these employees fired at Starbucks? Because they broke policy. Their job was to leave the building and let the robber takes whatever and then, come back and clean up. By engaging with them, now the robbers can sue Starbucks for physical altercations. George?
Pretty much bullshit company policy.
Yep.
Let them rob you. Insurance will cover it.
Mm-hmm.
No one will get hurt.
Exactly. Next up, financial dystopia. The belt boom is basically America's new economic engine. 11 states form this new boom belt. That's Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas. Together, these states would have the third largest GDP in the world. They are responsible for around 70% of the U.S. population growth and 57% of all new jobs.
Wow.
And now you know why all the people are moving to those states. Ron DeSantis, not surprising, Culver has exploded in Florida for over the past 10 years, still trying to get an In-N-Out burger in America's favorite sunny peninsula. Wall Street Journal, local burger chains are winning the fast food wars. In-N-Out, Culver's, and Whataburger drive sales and location growth with fresh food and friendly service, beating McDonald's and Burger King and all the old chains. Well, you know, when
I find that hard to believe. McDonald's is so much bigger than the Whataburger and all that stuff.
well, McDonald's is a real estate company, not a fast food company, so of course they're beating them on that lunch.
Ah,
Matt Van Swol, it's been confirmed that the man who threw a 3-year-old toddler into a crocodile enclosure in the UK had already been let out on bond. The man is described as mentally disabled, and the police are still refusing to name him. Witness says that the zoo owner's wife jumped 15 feet into the crocodile enclosure herself to rescue the child.
oh, gee whiz.
Yeah. I'm sure the reason why they're not naming disabled man is because he's probably one of those children of kissing cousins.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
You know, exactly. The U.S. Department of Labor, we're making America skill again before GTA 6. Riding the wave of a cultural inflection point. Hey, George, wouldn't it be funny that a fixed point in time would be the release of a video game?
You mean a singularity?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty freaking messed up, man.
It's like, well, it makes sense because everybody's is looking forward to it. That, you know, they're literally taking active time off to focus all their attention on playing this video game.
It's like when the Avengers movie, the first Avengers movie came out.
Yeah.
North America just happened to like everybody called in sick that day.
Exactly. So it's a singularity happening, George. Millie Marconi, a Japanese immunologist, spent 20 years proving that the chemicals trees release into the air walk into your bloodstream, hunts down your stress hormones, and arm your immune system. In no way therapist or pharmaceutical has ever matched, and most of the data has been sitting in a Japanese medical journals for 2 decades waiting to be translated. His name is Kui Li. He's a clinical professor in Nippon Medical School in Tokyo and is president of the Japanese Society of Forest Medicine. The Japanese government has been funding his research since 2004, and the body of work he has produced is the reason forest bathing is officially prescribed critical therapy in Korea and Japan. The story actually starts in 1982 when Japanese Ministry of Agricultural, Forestry, and Fishery coined the term Shinrin-yoku to describe the practice of slow, mindful walks in a forest. They did it for a practical reason. Japan was herbalizing fast, stress-related illness was climbing, and the country had thousands of square kilometers of forest sitting unused. The idea was to give people a reason to walk into the trees. They had no idea what was actually happening to the human body during this walk until Quen Ji ran the proper test in 2005. So to make a long story short, right, is that basically if you hug a tree, it actually works in lowering your stress levels, hormones, and you get a good night's sleep.
What about a bonsai tree?
Well, you can't hug it.
I can pat it.
Yeah, but it's not the same thing. It has to be a big old tree where you can wrap your arms around it. Insider paper, U.S. intelligence agency warned the Trump admin that the Israel Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu is likely to take steps that will undermine President Trump's effort to reach a lasting peace deal with Iran. Washington Post.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate based on all the bullshit that's been happening so far.
Yeah. You know, we'll continue on. Lives a TikTok. Drag queen school board member who was just arrested for allegedly sexually explicit communication with a child, 12-year-olds, was a guest speaker at the Democratic Party Philadelphia caucus in 2024. Not surprising.
Shocked, I'm telling you.
Shock. Mia Joy never deleting this app. Reid Hoffman, the FBI cleared me. You, on the other hand, he's responding to Elon Musk. Hoffman should be investigated. Elon Musk responded again. Liar, you're guilty of dark deeds and haven't been clear of anything. You stayed at Epstein Island, Epstein Ranch in New Mexico, and Epstein House in New York. You offer to help him with PR. You gave him a gift. Maybe if it was only one stay over, you could claim it was a mistake. Maybe. But there's no possible explanation for the second, let alone a third time. As a record shows, you're an eager repeat customer. And who is Reid Hoffman, the billionaire who's helping fund crazy E. Carroll lawsuit against Trump, which was illegal. It was illegal. Secretary Linda McMahon telling it as it is. All right, brother. Department of Education is a pass-through entity for federal dollars. It doesn't educate a single student or hire a single teacher. The money is sent to states for education can be sent directly without waste. I don't know why I went. I don't know why I went with the Holsker there. You know.
Yep.
By the way, Linda McMahon is ex-wife of what's his name? Can't remember his name. The guy who owns WWE. Or did. Clandestine.
Oh, Vince McMahon?
Vince McMahon. There you go. Clandestine. The new Syrian regime has been working with the IAEA, and they have found uranium sample of the clandestine nuclear facility in Syria. What? The IAEA found natural uranium with the sign of chemical processing, indicating that the processed uranium derived from yellowcake was handled at these facilities. Samples were taken in June 2025, and the origin of the material has not yet been disclosed. This probably happened when they took control of the Syrian president. Remember that?
Yeah, but you know what? That was so yesterday.
Yeah. The facilities are supposedly linked with the North Korean assistant, and Syria has been a proxy of Iran until the Assad regime fell in 2024. The new regime under al-Sarraj has been cooperating with Trump and the IAEA. Hey, guess what? Now that this facility is closed, North Korea doesn't have any cake for their nuclear programs. I guess that's why the South Korean president is saying that, we're going to take care of North Korea nuclear program now. Huh. Funny. Trump has been hunting down rogue nuclear threat all over the world this time. North Korea, Syria, and Iran. Remember when Trump struck Syria in 2017, and then the U.S., France, and UK conducted joint strike in Syria in 2018? Was it just about chemical weapons? No, it was about nuclear cakes that they found. Testing the uranium in Iran was just a formality. Trump and the U.S. military already know. They've been hunting down the entire global network. Hey, this is the cake of uranium-1 that allegedly, because until, evidence and Hillary Clinton's sentence, we can only say allegedly, sold to the Russian, which was then sold to the Syrians, which was sold to, given to North Korea and Iran for their nuclear programs.
Looks like it picked a bad time to quit doing hallucinogens this year.
Exactly. You can't float with the bugs. By the way, Planet of Memes, uncanny resemblance. You tell me, George. You tell me.
You can't tell the difference. Who's who?
Exactly. By the way, a man has been reportedly arrested for cutting President Trump's new American flag blue sealants and ripping it off the Lincoln reflecting proofs. Wow, leftists are sabotaging beauty. They want reflecting pools to look filthy, utter disgrace. So, those stories about the seal already peeling off,
Mhm.
it's not true. It's actually somebody who was actually ripping it off.
Yep.
Peas
In
in the
in that algae there, I believe somebody put in some contaminants into the pool.
Yep,
There's no way for that algae to grow that quickly.
exactly. Especially when they're putting peroxide every day.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
Yeah,
It's overloaded with peroxide, or what do you call it, agents that's killed the what do you call the mold, or whatever you call it, the
yeah,
fungi.
exactly.
Yeah, so that stuff there,
Hmm.
nah, somebody's sabotaging it.
Exactly. David J. Harrison Jr. is posting that article of impeachment has officially been introduced against Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. All right, where's the receipts? Where's the receipts? Give us the receipts.
Sure.
Dead on arrival. Okay, thank you. It failed to pass. Sorry, David, you lied. You think they're gonna impeach their ringleader, who would cause domino effects? If he goes down, everybody goes down. Breaking 911, a large fire has broken out at Viva Dominius Hotel in Bahia Hibi, located in La Altagracia province in the Dominican Republic. Sorry, George, you were about to say something?
I say it's just the way it is.
Just the way it is. Da-da-dun, da-da-dun. Looks like a bad day to be a cocaine meth lab.
Yeah. Looks like they picked a bad time to quit sniffing glue.
Exactly. JD Vance, our message is simple. If you defraud the American people, we will find you. We will bring you to justice. Campbell preyed on the elderly for years, costing taxpayers over $1 billion. The FBI catching Kimball is a direct result of the task force partnership with the FBI to create the most wanted fraudster list. Authorities have sought Kimball for months with no actions, but just 4 days after we published our list, the Philippines government helped us track him down. Catching the fraudster is now a priority of this administration, and thanks to our task force hard work, one of the country's most wanted fraudsters will now have to answer for his crime. You know why I say this is bullshit?
Go on.
Because they already knew where he was during the first term. It just took them this long to get everything rolling. So by the time it got everything set, now they can claim, "Oh, it only took 2 weeks for us to capture this guy," when it really took about a decade for it actually to happen.
Oh no!
Oh no! But you know what? I'm not going to begrudge their success. I'm glad that they captured him. I'm just saying that the time span of when they capture him is a little bit bullshitty.
Oh.
In just over 2 weeks, this is from FBI Director Kash Patel. This is the second most wanted fraudster arrested on the FBI list led by Vice President J.D. Vance and the White House Task Force to Eliminate Fraud. Herbert Leon Kimball was apprehended in the Philippines and is now back in the United States, on the run since 2024 after he allegedly orchestrated a $1.2 billion healthcare fraud conspiracy that targeted the Medicare system, particularly elderly victims from 2014 to 2019. George, this is so interesting. This date is so interesting.
Strange.
You know what I'm suspecting? I'm suspecting that $1.2 billion ended up being kickbacks and going into a thing called Act Blue, and that money was laundered as financial donation to Democrats and Republican alike, but mostly Democrats.
Ah, pshaw, you say.
Pasha! We'll find out. Thank you for the acting Attorney General Todd Blanche and our Justice Department partner for the assistance in returning Kimball to the U.S. to face justice. President Trump set a mandate to end the abuse of hardworking taxpayer money, and each and every day this team will be committed to delivering. Well, sir, thank you so much for stopping, this other nexus of money going through to the Democrats.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right. And because, the Los Angeles people are not shouting, they're not getting up and shout and talk and then shout, making that song shout, they have to shout it. Why are they not shouting it? Clown World, Los Angeles County voters just approved raising their own sales taxes to 10.25%, meaning millions of residents will have to pay more on everyday purchases. In the middle of a cost of living crisis, they literally voted to make things more expensive. I don't think
that doesn't make any sense.
I don't think the voters passed that. I think the selected people who, allowed the ballots to select them decided, hey, since you guys are being assholes, we're going to punish you by raising the taxes on you guys.
That sounds more like it.
Yeah. How dare you, vote for Spencer Pratt that makes us work hard to get a third party, second Democrat nominee working days to beat Spencer after votes election selections. Jeez. Eric, awesome. President Trump reveals that Starlink has been equipped in his new Air Force One. Calling Elon Musk his friend is the highest level, including Starlinks. My friend Elon is going to be very happy. Starlinks, we have four or five different sets of double and triple communications. You know what this means, right, George?
No, what?
Well, you know that Elon is a government contractor, right?
Yeah.
You know that Elon Starlink is connected to Space Force, right?
Yeah.
That means that they have 4 to 5 different set of Space Force communications to the ship. That means that at any given time, Space Force will be tracking that plane and making sure it's protected with GoldenEye satellites.
Yeah.
Okay. Just,
And what's your point?
No. That was my point, the whole thing, that he's protected.
Layered. I call it layered. Layered protection.
All right, Sandy Peterson. This is a really good rule. Try it out on Loki, Draco Malfoy, Hannibal Lecter, and Killmonger. You'll see how totally correct the Divino rule is. So, what is the Divino rule? Which fictional character are idealized by people who miss the entire point of their story? This is from Reddit. Your man Gray from 50 Shades book. Why is he seen as a wonderful, sexy man of your dream? He's a narcissistic, misogynist jerk. I heard something someone called the Danny DeVito rules, where if changing the actor to Danny DeVito makes a character a psycho, they were always a psycho.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
So, basically, think of a popular villain. Let's do Dark Vader, right? That's a popular villain, right?
Yeah, it's very popular.
Now remove Vader and put Danny DeVito in place. How does that form in your mind? Wrong. You were part of the rebellion. You're a traitor to to the empire and part of the rebellion. Take her away. Soon,
Aha.
princess. You'll tell us the location of your station.
Aha. It's all coming together now.
Yeah. So it doesn't seem too much of a psycho, but the Terminator. Think of the Terminator. Change.
The Terminmeister.
It's like I'll be back. You know.
I can see that.
I mean, I don't think Arnold would work. He's practically twins with Danny DeVito, so I don't think that would really qualify.
Mm-hmm.
What's another villain? What's a popular villain? George.
Fu Manchu.
Oh yeah, put Danny DeVito as Fu Manchu.
Yeah, where Fu Manchu usually looks down on his enemies.
Yeah,
Danny DeVito would have to
Look
get
up.
up on a few crates to look down on his enemies.
exactly. Let's see.
I can see that.
Yeah, I don't know that the DeVito rule works, or maybe we don't. Maybe we're level-headed.
Yeah, I think we're thinking it too much.
Yeah. All right. By the way, U.S. is reportedly ending the HIV/AIDS funding for South Africa. Watch the rates of HIV goes down proportionally.
Oh no!
David J. Harris in Louisiana, 54-year-old Glenn Sullivan Sr. was sentenced to 50 years in prison in court order surgical castration after pleading guilty to repeatedly raping a 14-year-old girl, resulting in her pregnancy. Judge William Dykes, really? Dykes?
Give it a chance. Give it a chance.
Ordered the physical removal of his testes as part of the plea agreement under Louisiana tough new law targeting a child sex offender. Sullivan chose surgery over additional prison time. This marks one of the first instances of the court-mandated surgical castration in the state for such horrific crimes. A strong penalty like this sends a clear message that the child predator will face real consequences. Do you support this?
Well, the thing is,
He still did the deed.
you can cut the arm off the person, so to speak.
Yeah.
Will the person still not think of doing something evil?
Exactly. You haven't really fixed things, as one would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You haven't fixed things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're going full body conversion.
Yeah, you just haven't fixed things.
Yeah, things haven't been fixed.
That's right.
All right. Don't be all rude there. Exit alert. Lifeguard shocked after he heard a huge splash and saw a Tesla in the middle of a public pool in Connecticut. The driver said he was trying to park when his car suddenly accelerated, causing him to crash through a fence and plunge into the Steve Benko pool at Waverly Park. Lifeguards and emergency crew quickly rescued the driver, fearing the water would rise above his head. Luckily, the pool was closed at the time, and no one was injured during the incident. Yeah. You know what would be amazing? If that car started driving like nothing happens, it just smells like chlorine for the rest of the time.
Yeah, it just drives along. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It goes home, and the owner says, "What happened?" He goes, "Don't worry about it. Just plug me in."
Plug you in.
There's nothing to talk about.
Nothing to talk about here. See?
Yeah, everything's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Look away. Look away.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you to our locals and bots. Thank you to everybody else. George, what's your final thoughts?
Things, man. Lots of things.
Things. My gosh, things. All right. Speaking of things, we'll see you tomorrow for more things because things don't stop. Bye.
So many things.
I believe that together we can make America great again. I believe that together we can make America great again.